What up, everybody? I'm your host, JP. This is my co-host, Josh.
Hey, everyone.
And welcome back to another episode of the FilmBros podcast. What's up, everybody? We're back. And you know what? Now that a lot of the newer movies have kind of died out, we're back on track with our other reviews, and we're back to give you guys a full season review for The Last of Us.
If you don't think there's hope for the world, why bother going on?
You haven't seen the world, so you don't know. You keep going for family.
I'm not family.
No. You're cargo.
So, The Last of Us has been out for like the past couple weeks. It's in all its entirety. It's been out already. It's out on HBO Max. If you guys haven't seen it, go check it out first, then come back, because this will be spoiler talk. There will be spoilers within this conversation. We did do the first half of the season in episode 63. If you guys want to go check that one out, that's the first half, the first 5 episodes, and our thoughts on it. We're going to do the back end, the last 4. We'll recap the first 5 just a little bit, but if you want to hear more detail, I suggest you go listen to episode 63.
Yeah, exactly.
But this will be our overall conscientious for the show. So on Rotten Tomatoes, they gave it about a 96% fresh on the tomato meter, almost 100%. I know, almost 100%. Audience score was at an 89%, so a little bit less than the critic score. So I mean, some people didn't like this adaptation. I thought it was all right. Neil Druckerman was the creator of this series. Obviously, it's based on the game, starring Pedro Pascal, Bella Ramsey, a lot of guest stars in this series as well. We got Anna Torv. I know we had Nick Offerman in there. Troy Baker. He's actually the original voice for Joel in the game. But yeah, Josh. So Josh, let's recap real quick. What was your thoughts? What was your state of mind after the first through 5th episode? Loved it, hated it. What'd you think?
But wait, before I tell you my thoughts, let's hear a quick word from ZippyStream, our sponsor for this podcast.
Today's episode is sponsored by ZippyStream. If you are wondering how we make money to run our podcast, it's all because of this innovative platform. Here at FilmBros Podcast, we absolutely love using ZippyStream. It's the easiest way to convert listeners into an email list, but best of all, they find us sponsorship so we can keep making money doing what we love.
Suppose you're also a podcaster thinking about starting one. ZippyStream will help you find and manage a relationship with brands that are relevant to your audience. If you want to learn more, contact us as soon as possible. Everyone that signs up this month will get to claim £10 as a joining bonus, which is around $12 or something like that.
Just reach out to us by email or social media DMs, and I'll put you in touch with the guys at ZippyStream right away. Now back to the pod.
Well, I like them for the most part. All of the episodes have been really, really strong, in my opinion. If I could, because it's been a minute since I've seen them, but 1 through 5, they were all just really good. Like no real big complaints on each of them.
Emotional roller coaster.
Shit was good.
Pretty good. Yeah, same thing with me. 1 through 5 were holding pretty steady. I honestly believe the first 3 were like the highlights of the first 5, in my opinion. But nonetheless, every single one was an emotional roller coaster. I think. I think they were all pretty great. So the first episode was When You're Lost in the Darkness. I'm just gonna be reading you guys the synopsis for every single episode. This one is 20 years after the fungal outbreak ravages the planet. Survivors Joel and Tess are tasked with a mission that could change everything. So on this one, they showed before the outbreak, and they wound up showing his life they wound up showing his life before the outbreak and after the outbreak, basically setting the tone for the series in this one. The second one was called Infected. After escaping the QZ, Joel and Tess clash over Ellie's fate while navigating the ruins of a long-abandoned Boston. This is the one where Joel, Tess, and Ellie basically go out there. They're trying to figure out the path that they need to go. They wound up leaving the quarantine zone. Doesn't end well for Tess. Does not end well for Tess in this episode. Then we get to episode 3, one of the most controversial episodes that we talked about in our first half of the review.
Yeah.
Long time. This is the one with Nick Offerman. When an unknown person approaches his compound, survivalist Bill forges an unlikely connection. Later, Joel and Ellie seek Bill's guidance. So this one, we kind of get a backstory with Bill and his partner. Basically, this one shows you the humanity and all the darkness.
Yeah.
You see them live basically their life in the QZ, in their own little QZ zone, and eventually leads to the path where Joel and Ellie find them and they hit the road on their brand new Tacoma. It wasn't a Tacoma, but whatever. Fourth episode, called Please Hold My Hand. After abandoning their truck in Kansas City, Joel and Ellie attempt to escape without drawing the attention of a vindictive rebel leader. This is the one where they take that Tacoma to the city. They wind up making a detour because it's not open. From there, they're chased on foot. They're almost robbed, chased on foot by a bunch of rebels. Got a new character in this one that wasn't in the original video game. Got a whole new storyline. They also mixed it with towards the end with what are their two names? The brothers.
I forget. I think they'll tell you in the next one, right?
Yeah. The brothers. They wound up running in with them, and then that leads us to episode 5, Endure and Survive. While attempting to evade the rebels, Joe and Ellie cross paths with the most wanted man in Kansas City. Kathleen continues her hunt. They wound up leaving, making it out alive. They had to fucking bob and weave Kathleen, and then eventually they just all got fucked up by a bloater. It was one of the most heavy zombie and clicker filled episode, and to be honest, I don't think we get any of that again, unfortunately. But it was a good episode, very emotional at the end. If you guys play the video game, you know exactly what happens, and it does pull on your heartstring.
Yeah, shit's tough.
So now we're here, finally here at episode 6. We got Kin. After ignoring the advice of locals, Joe and Ellie descend deeper into dangerous territory in search of the Fireflies and Tommy. So in this episode, Joe and Ellie basically leave off on their own once again. They wound up making it to the compound where the Fireflies and his brother Tommy are. Joe finds that revelation that he's married, wound up finding a family. Joe struggles with that realization whether he'll be able to make it and take Ellie, or should he have somebody else take her to get rid of her, basically. Does not wind up happening, and towards the end, Joel and Ellie wound up parting their own ways and hitting the road again. Now, I guess I simplified it. I don't want to give everything away because if you guys haven't seen it, I know I said a spoiler, but at the same time, we want to give you guys a chance to be able to go and watch it yourselves.
Basically.
But that's basically the gist of it. And this episode, though I felt it didn't really hit the highs that the video game gave you, I did like the tweaks that they made with it and how they played a big role and a very heavy role with Joel's daughter to basically I like that they struggled. They showed him struggling with that. In the video game, they kind of pressed on it more, and I kind of feel like that's what this show kind of lacked, was the caring for his original daughter with throughout the season. So them using her in this one, and actually Tommy actually getting something out of it, and Ellie finding out about her in this one as well. I think it kind of helped resolve his issues. I wish we could have seen more struggle throughout the series with it, but them highlighting it in this one really really brought it home for me, I think.
Honestly, yeah, because I think we talked about it. A whole lot of that was kind of missing. He just wanted to bury it away and not talk to Ellie about it, which makes sense. He
does it in the video game too.
He was basically just like, your cargo. I don't have to tell you shit about me. We're just getting to point A to point B. I enjoyed the dynamic between Joel and Tommy in the movie. I can't remember too much from the game, but I remember from the show that it just, the way it all kind of brings together, and how Joel feels betrayed that he kind of got married and stuff and left him behind and all that. Joel was basically coming to the reality that even though he's still upset and stuff, that he's been upset for quite a long time. Tommy was able to get married and stuff, and I think that's one of the lines he tells him. He's like, just because your world stopped doesn't mean everyone else's has or whatnot. And that line kind of fucked me up. I was like, damn, that's crazy. Because, yeah, he was mourning her for forever, to the point where he was just cold and whatnot. You know what I mean?
Well, to the point where he didn't want to get attached to anything.
Exactly. So, like, he was just... And I think that kind of... That and him coming to the realization of his age, where he's just like, I think I'm too old. I can't be caring for her. Because, yeah, he was kind of getting his ass whooped in the first half of the season.
Yeah.
So...
His hearing, all that stuff was really...
Yeah. He comes to the realization that maybe someone else should take her. He tells Tommy. Ellie's more just like, I don't want to go. like that, don't leave me. And then by the end of the episode, he makes up his mind. He's like, all right, I'll take her. And then I think this is where the story started changing for him, because he was able to come to the realization that he needs to do what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Because he did grow attached to her, whether he wanted to admit it or not.
Yeah. It's just he was resisting that urge, and
exactly
this one really helped with that resolution, and I feel like it bridged it really well. One thing, and maybe this is because I've been playing the video game as well. Maybe I know that they tweaked a lot, and I know that they have to tweak it in order for it to work for a TV show. I just think the absence of the daughter and them, though I like the resolution of it, I do think that it was kind of brought down because of the absence of it throughout the series. Because in the video game, Ellie would ask quite often and try to pry out of him as often as he can, as often as she could. But in this one, I get it, respect boundaries, but like I thought that they were gonna like make her a little bit more picky about it, trying to get it out, and until that point where he eventually snaps and says, she kind of dies down, and they have that heart to heart later on. But like I would have liked that within the show just a little bit more, and just to get it at episode 6, it kind of seems kind of far.
Well, with every episode almost an hour, you know what I mean? They do what they can.
That's true.
And sometimes you kind of have to prioritize where your character arc will get that realization. Episode 6 isn't that bad of a place, because they were kind of, for a long time, they were either getting shot at and they had to survive, or they were running away from zombies or whatever, you know what I mean? So
what little zombies we seen.
Yeah, for them to rest and finally come to that realization where everything is kind of like, well, this is nice. Why should we go any further? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It would, of course, it would make them come to realize that in the end, like, Joel was still having problems accepting his daughter's death, and that his brother's married now, and Ellie also saying that she had lost someone at this point kind of just helps her arc too, because she was saying that everyone around her has left her, and reinforces the fact that Joel almost left her too.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, very good. And so at the end of this episode, Joel, though they walk away, they wind up running into people and Joel's hurt. So in the next episode called Left Behind, now this is the expansion pack, if you will, of the video game, and they basically put it in an episode where they show the relationship that Ellie had and had with her friend, I believe. What's her name? What's her name? Rebecca? No, that sounds wrong. This one's called Left Behind. It's called as Joel. It says as Joel fights to survive, Ellie looks back on the night that changed everything. So they're basically, her friend is the rebellious one. She wound up joining the Fireflies.
Mm-hmm.
She coerces Ellie to come out because they're really good friends and best friends. She goes out to the mall with them. They have a good time. They wind up planting the seed. Because I don't know if they did that in the video game where they planted the seed that heavy where, that they had relations like that. Maybe I'm forgetting, but
I can't remember.
I think in this one they planted it pretty heavy that they, that Ellie was more gay. And I think they did it well. I liked the little relationship in between. Now, I would have wished they would have showed, because at the end of it, Ellie and her wound up getting bit. That's how Ellie finds out that she's immune because she never turns. And, she had to do in her best friend, which is unfortunate. But I would have liked to have seen that in this episode. I think that's one. Like, this episode, honestly, was perfect for me. I didn't have really that many. We actually got the zombies that I wanted to see throughout the show. Not as heavy as I wish, but it was good enough, I guess. And, we see that moment, and then it's just kind of like the episode's over. You know what I mean? And I like how they played on the relationship, but I was like, the relationship's cool, and it made for that compelling ending, but it just kind of felt like they could have just, if they would have shown that little bit more, it would have hit just that much harder, in my opinion.
I think that chalks up to just the source material. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I really like this episode too. Again, I liked a lot of these episodes. I'm not sure if I have a favorite, if I'm being for real, but I did like this one. I enjoyed their dynamic. They were really cool together. They felt organically like they were friends and stuff. And yeah, not just that her friend was a Firefly, but they were asking her to be a bomber.
Yeah.
Like, and bomb the QZ and take it from him and stuff. And she was just more like, man, fuck that. We could just leave. You know what I mean? And I did get the hint, or they were dropping hints before their big kiss, where you could tell that she was giving her the look of like, hey, like, I like you more than a friend type of shit.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was expected. And I know there was controversy around that too. And you're kind of like, well, what can you do? You know what I mean? Like, that's something that kind of happens in the second game. So they laid down the foundation kind of early, which is nice. No, so you don't get those people that were like, well, they didn't set this up, yada, 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 but they did.
Yep. Made it very prominent, too.
Yeah. So they argue, or they kiss, and all this and that. They argue. Ellie decides that fuck this. You know what I mean? I'm not going with you, whatever, because she just wants to leave her friend and all that.
Exactly.
Even after the night together, I think that was the plan for her. And then by the end, she's just like, "Nah, we could stay or we can go wherever you want, whatever." I just really like their dynamic. Their relationship was so nice. And then by the time it was time for her to like do her in, it was just like, damn, that was really sad.
Yeah. It was a good episode. I liked this episode. I think it was one of their better episodes. I think the back end episodes were good, but I think the first 3 were like very solid, 100%. But this one was top notch for me. The 8th episode, when we are in need, Ellie crosses paths with the vengeful group of survivors and draws the attention of its leader. A weakened Joel faces a new threat. So this is basically Ellie doing what she has to do to survive. Joel's knocked on his ass from the previous episode. He wound up getting stabbed, I believe. And she's keeping him alive. She's hunting. She's doing all these things. She winds up being put in the path of the group of people that they had encountered before and actually killed one of their members. So now they have some kind of some very big vendetta against the both of them. And they're a cult, a religious cult that, turns out are cannibals, which is crazy.
That twist was fucking crazy.
Yeah, man. And so Ellie has to do what she has to do. He was like, "Hey, game recognizes game. Try to put the moves on." Ellie does what she has to do. Winds up making it out, not unscathed, very traumatized by the end of it, and we see Joel fucking become the ruthless motherfucker that he needs to be. Basically, setting up the point that I believe sets up the point that's going to happen in the next episode, that he will do anything to get back to Ellie. You know, that you fucked with him, you took her away, you're going to tell me what I need to know. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? And really set that stage for the next episode. I think this one was a perfect episode before the final.
Yeah, it was a good way to set the tone and stuff, get your big action piece out of the way before the ending, basically. I really like this one too, man. They were doing their thing with this one. Ellie, Bella Ramsey as Ellie in this one she was so fucking good, man. She, like, I know we talked about it previously about their little pay gap or whatever, but with the path she's on, she'll get there. You know what I mean? She's a great actress, and this is like it's my first time seeing her in anything, and she fucking kills it.
Yeah,
I think
does a very good job.
Yeah, she meets the people, gets locked up in a cage, and that shit scared the fuck out of me too. Fucking eating the people, eating fucking cannibals. They just have no idea, which we should have, because sometime in the beginning of that episode, one of the ladies goes, "Oh, what'd you bring us?" And she's like, the guy's like, "Deer." And I was like, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But you thought they were cooking something else, which they were. I really liked the bad guy in this one, even though he was kind of a creep and whatnot.
Yeah.
But he did surprisingly very well at being a creep.
Yeah, he did.
And Joel, Pedro Pascal, oh man, I'm telling you, the performances in the show, HBO can get it right, because my God, like, yeah, he gets up and he's more like, I'm going for blood. He's not the same. He's not the old Joel that before episode 6, 7, something like that.
Yeah.
That he says he is when he's talking to his brother. He understands that it's survival mode. You know what I mean? So he takes out the people in the area with ease. Oh my gosh, stealthiest man I know. And then Bella or Ellie's fighting for her life, and eventually she comes out. Like you said, very, very traumatic experience for her. She comes out, she hugs Joel, and this is where this just very cements the idea that we were talking about earlier in the other episodes, that he does care. He does care for her. Like when he calls her baby girl, and I was like, God damn, that shit hurt.
Yeah.
It was very emotional stuff.
You can tell they have that connection, and honestly, they didn't let the foot off the gas in this episode. I'll tell you that much. It kept you very engaged throughout the whole episode. One thing that I thought was very distracting, and I'm gonna probably say about it in the last episode too, is having the original actor who played Joel in the video game in this episode. I was just like, it was a neat little like oh, I could hear Joel in his voice kind of thing, but I was just like, oh man, what we could have had.
I don't know, because I like that they were involved, but at the same time, like, you can't give them that role. You know what I mean? You gotta let new people take it.
It sucks, because I was just listening. I was just like, man, this is the voice that I know. This is him. And though Pedro Pascal is not bad, I don't think he was a far off match. I think Bella Ramsey kind of was, but that's just my opinion.
It's a shit. No, yeah, no. This was a very good episode. Yeah. I like this one. It had the action, it had the emotional weight behind it all.
The
cool
savagery, stuff. the fucking it made me think like, damn, what the fuck's gonna happen type shit. That thing was
that scene where he has him tied up and he's like, I want you to point to where I gotta go, and he points and then he fucking stabs him anyway.
Yeah, and he was like,
tough.
I ain't gonna tell you shit. It's okay, I believe him. I was like, damn, dog. I was like, okay.
Menace.
I was like, Joe ready for it.
Joe's a menace.
And moving on to the final episode of the season, for those that don't know, it already got greenlit for season 2. Don't worry, you're gonna get the Last of Us Part 2. It's coming. It's coming. We're gonna have to wait to see what they do. Obviously, they're gonna tweak the story up. Rumors going around. Hopefully, they're not true. Some of them, because some of them sound horrific. But we'll see what happens in the future. But episode 9, Look for the Light. A pregnant Anne places her trust in a lifelong friend. Later, Joel and Ellie near the end of their journey. So we basically see the birth of Ellie in this one in the beginning. And this is where I say it's kind of distracting, because they got the original actress who plays Ellie in the video game to be the mother. And I heard her voice multiple times, and I was just like, son of a bitch. Yeah. So we see the birth of Ellie. She winds up literally going out the best way possible. Fought off a zombie, still gave birth, and cut the umbilical cord. That's how she was able to, get the immunity inside of her. Sad that she had to go so early in the episode. And then we see Joe and Ellie have that nice little heart-to-heart before they wind up getting captured by the Fireflies. And then we see Joel not being able to let go of Ellie. He goes ahead, slaughters everybody, and walks out with her. And they have that little nice talk at the end, and basically march their way on together into part 2. This episode was fine. It's just I love the performances. I even think him going through the hallways and the music that was playing, and him just like, knowing that he's just full focused on getting Ellie back, because he does not want her to die, because they have to do the surgery, and it's the only way to get it. It's in her brain, and they basically kill her in order to do it. Yeah. So he did what he had to do. I thought the emotional weight was there, and like I said, the best part about this show is that I played the video game, and these scenes and the show still makes you feel like, what the fuck is happening? You know what I mean? You still get that emotional weight, and HBO knows how to fucking do that shit right.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff. The beginning half with Ellie's mom really threw me off, because I was like, damn, like that's some tough shit. Not to just give birth, but to do everything after the fact, like kill the zombie and all that. And yeah, we find out there she's immune, something about the blood plates or whatever, something like that. I can't remember specifically what made her immune, but something made her immune. I like that scene with the giraffe. Yeah. Just side note, I like that scene.
Fun fact, it was a real giraffe.
Yeah, a real giraffe. Very cool stuff.
But they CGI'd a horse.
It's weird. So yeah, they get captured. Joel's whole reaction, Pedro Pascal is just such a good actor, man. His reaction when he's like, "You guys are gonna kill her," he's like, "Well then, never mind. Like fuck that. If I would have known, I wouldn't have brought her." Mm-hmm. His whole realization and face acting is just so spot on, man. Because you can see it go. Because he's worried all the time, but the realization that comes over him, you could just see it in his face. Mm-hmm. So the Firefly, what's her name, is telling him that she has to undergo surgery to get the test out and stuff. She knows he's gonna try and stop it. He's like, well, fuck yeah, I'm gonna try and stop it. She has him escorted out because you should totally just escort the man out that kind of delivered and did your dirty work.
Right.
My thing with that though was just, I didn't like how 2 guards were watching him, and it felt like that scene of him being thrown out was really long for some reason. Like if they were trying to prolong it for runtime.
Yeah, I kind of felt like they were doing it for tension purposes, but my thing is that, okay, where it kind of just threw me off in that whole ending was that when she was like, you and Ellie were able to do it, just you two. I had 5 people around me, and I almost died. So if you knew that, and you know what he's capable of, why would you have, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
why would you just have escorted him with just 2 people?
exactly.
And then, like,
He's just that guy.
Exactly. And then, like, I told you earlier too, before we started recording, but like, I think one thing about this show too is that I can't believe that he ripped through all those people. I can't. Like, that's just something to me that was, though it was emotional and it was hard hitting, at the end of it I was like, how the fuck was he able to do that? And not have one hit on him either. I was like, he basically went there unscathed, and then he like walked out. And I like the little ending too when he has to do homegirl in, and I was like, yeah, that's what she fucking gets. She deserves that shit. But at the end of the day, I was still kind of baffled from that scene. I was just like, like I said, though it was emotionally hitting because of like the music and the way that they played it out, I was still sitting there kind of like, how is he able to? Are these people not trained? Like, are they? Why is he able to do this so easily?
I don't know. I think I get what you mean. But
For a video game, it makes sense.
yeah.
A video game is fine.
Mm-hmm.
For a show, if he's not John Wick, why is he doing that?
Sheer fucking will. But I don't know. I didn't really have a problem with that. I was kind of like, okay, I can expect that. He wants her back so badly that he'll mow down whoever. Is it a bit unrealistic? Yeah, but at the same time, the entire series is kind of, you know what I mean? So
It's just a movie, man.
Like,
That's what you're gonna tell me, huh?
well, no, but I mean, like, you kind of have to suspend your disbelief a little bit.
Yeah, no, yeah, I can do that a
And-
little bit.
And so
The circumstances with the episode 9 when like he was in the house and there was only like 2 of them and he was sick, I understood that I could get. Ellie fighting off a couple people and then burning down the place, I could get that. Joel straight up head on with like 20 goons and just like I was just like, yeah, no, I don't know about that one. The way he popped the doctor in the head was crazy though.
that's what I was just about to talk about. Like, he gets there, he's like, undo it, and he's like, I'll fucking kill her, and he just shoots her. He shoots him in the
It
head.
doesn't even ask any questions.
Exactly, he just shoots him in the head, and then he tells the nurses get her unhooked up, and he walks out. And yeah, he gets in the garage, and homegirl decides to stop him, and she tells him that she could have saved them and what this and this and that. And I forgot what he says to her. He says something badass, and then he pops her in the face. And then fast forward to them driving away. Ellie wakes up in the car. She's like, what happened? He's like, they had other test subjects. He bullshits. He's like, they had other test subjects. They said it didn't work, so I took you out of there. Doesn't tell her the truth, and I'm sure we'll figure that out in the second season, that it all went like down like that. But I really like this episode. It did feel a little bit weird, but
And
the
they
finale was fine.
padded the runtime for sure.
Basically, yeah.
They did.
That
They
was
did
my
their
big
best.
thing. I was like, he's walking. They're nudging him too slow toward the exit. He's obviously gonna get the upper hand on these motherfuckers.
Yeah. You stopped one time, shoot him in the kneecaps. He will throw you outside.
Yes.
Yeah. For ruthless organization, they weren't really ruthless on that part. But at the end of the day, I think the storytelling was superb. I think everything was pretty good. I think the show wrapped up nicely. Now, do I know where part 2 is gonna go? No, because I haven't actually played the game. I'm gonna play the game.
Yeah, no, I haven't played the second one either, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, so I'm gonna play the game before I get into it because I like doing that. I like being able to compare the video game to the actual show. I know that they already greenlit it, like I said. The performances are great. I don't know. I know that there's controversy on the second game, so I don't know how like anticipated the season 2 is gonna be. They did solid with season 1. I think all the episode. I think there's not one episode in this whole season that I could say was like a dud. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every single episode, even though I had little things, they were basically made.
They're
right.
made. You can overlook them because everything else is just it fits.
Yeah, it works well, and they did a really good job with all the storytelling.
Yeah.
The acting was fucking compelling. I told you in our first review that I wish they would have got somebody else that looked kind of like Ellie. But after seeing Bella Ramsey's acting, I understand why they went for her. And when she had to play, I think that was one thing in the first half. She didn't really have a lot of emotional scenes, but actually seeing her in the back end having that emotion and actually putting in that work, yeah, she did.
Came in clutch.
Yeah, she did what she had to do.
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal did most of it, but she did what she had to do when she needed to.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And yeah, Pedro Pascal, Bella Ramsey and Pedro deserve their flowers for sure because they did so well. Very good stuff. Can't wait for season 2. I don't know what it is. I haven't played the game, and like I know I was mad jealous of people that could just go in and watch the show and not be like, oh, this isn't like the game. Like I want to experience that. So I don't know if I'll play the game.
Oh, so you're just gonna walk in there?
Yeah.
Without nothing?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I still have to make up my mind. But I wanted to be one of those people that could just watch it with no strings attached. You know what I mean?
No, I want the strings attached. I wanna know. But with that being said, Josh, from 1 to 10, what do you rank this season of The Last of Us in total?
In total,
all together with all the flaws and all the ups.
I give it a 9. Not a full 10 because I do have my gripes with it and it is fucking phenomenal. I just wish there was more zombies. They sold us The Last of Us with basically no, not really zombies. They gave us clickers. They gave us the bloater, which I love, and that's why it's part of the 9. But a little more clickers, man. Just give us a little bit more of that.
Yeah, I was hoping to see a little bit more of that too. I get the hunter stuff and everything, but I mean, in the game they were able to blend that well with clickers. You know what I mean? You still, even if you were fighting henchmen, clickers could come out of nowhere and start fucking you up out of nowhere. You know what I mean? And that was like my thing. Like they shot bullets multiple times within the show. You would think a zombie would have been in range to come after. I know they were saying like they were in a dying state, some of them, but I'm sure there was still some kicking out there that they could have used. It is what it is, but overall I would say I would give it a 9 too. I don't think I can give it anything less than a 9 because the acting was superb. The sets were great. I know like a lot of them were built sets. The camera work, I don't know who did episode 3. I don't know who did that one, and I don't know who did the camera work for I believe it was episode 5 with the brothers. I don't know who did the camera work for those two, but they need more slots within the show to do it because I feel like those 2 episodes with the camera work they were pretty spot on. And yeah, like I said, and the whole zombie thing, just give us more zombies in part 2. That's what I need. Yeah. We need more zombies. If you guys are gonna promise us a zombie show, which is crazy because when in episode 3 there could have been, instead of having people hunting and trying to get into the fence and stuff like that, they could have had zombies doing that.
Yeah, clickers or something.
Clickers like trying to come in and they gotta like fight them off or something like that. Would have been nice.
That's why he set up all those booby traps, and he occasionally caught a zombie, and then he caught Bill.
Yeah, and then he caught his man, and after that it was over. No more catching anything.
Basically,
so. All in all, yeah, solid 9.
Solid 9.
And with that, what would be something that you would want to see in part 2 or season 2?
Well, yeah, more zombies. Like I said, I don't know what goes on. I think there's more people in the game. In the second game, like she runs into hella people from what I've seen of like gameplay and stuff. That there's more people present than there is zombies, if that makes any sense. So I just hope there's more zombies rather than human conflict.
One thing that I want to see, not just zombies, but I want to see Bella Ramsey, Ellie, basically doing more work. Because in the game, like she stabbed the clicker. She would like jump on people, like stab them, stuff like that when Joel was being overwhelmed, things like that. And I know that he was being protective over her and told her like don't touch anything or whatever. In the beginning, that was fine. And I think they showed that she can handle her own within episode 9, but I would want to see them working together more and her doing her part while he's doing his part. You know what I mean? like how they kind of do it in the video game.
Yeah.
Like you can be out there fighting, but then she's gonna be over your shoulder, either sniping or picking stuff up or stabbing them or doing whatever. You know what I mean? Helping them out.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that they didn't really do in this season.
Yeah, no, not much of that either. But again, if the second season is going where they're going, she'll get her spotlight eventually.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll show a little bit more. I just want to see more of that like little dynamic duo type shit.
Yeah.
But very good. Can't wait for season 2. It's gonna be coming up. It's already. I believe they're gonna be filming. They said by the end of this year in 2023. So hopefully we might get something towards the end of next year in 2024. Who knows?
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey are coming back. For those that played part 2, don't spoil anything for us.
We'll get there eventually.
We'll get there when we get there. With that being said, if there's anything we missed on this review, anything that you feel like we should be talking about on our podcast, but we haven't yet, any movies or shows you want us to review, Josh, let them know where they can let us know.
Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. We post when new episodes are out. You can let us know if you want us to review any movies or news. It's up to y'all. If you want to listen to us on the go, Spotify and Apple Podcast at FilmBros Podcast. If you want to support us in a big way, Zippy Stream at FilmBros Podcast. All it takes is a name and an email. And go ahead and follow and subscribe to our YouTube. Because why wouldn't you want to? At FilmBros Podcast.
Yeah. Do all that. What he said. Don't forget. With that being said, we'll talk to you guys on the next one.
Talk to you guys later.